we're going to do today is we're going to talk about energy management and how you manage your energy to reduce stress. And we're going to talk about 4 pillars. Those pillars are physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, and I'm not talking about religion. And really what it comes down to is that 25th hour in a day is not going to come, and your workload is not going to drop. And right now we live in unprecedented times in terms of working from home, trying to put all the pieces together with family, with school, with everything that's happening. And we need to manage our energy in order to live the life that we want. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's go into the physical energy first. It's the first of our 4 pillars. And when we think about that physical energy, it's how much energy do I have at the end of the day, in the morning? Do I need lots and lots of coffee to get going? Do I have time to be who I want with my family? And that's what we're going to be looking at. If there's one thing I want you to remember about physical energy, it is this, that in order to have that energy that we like, it comes from glucose and oxygen in our bloodstream. That's 2 things we need to think about. Where does the glucose come from, and how do we get that oxygen in there? So let's talk first about the glucose. In general, to keep that glucose going so you don't have those dumps and those slumps, what you want to be doing is eating every 3 hours or so. Light, make sure there's some protein in there, make sure there's some veggies and a grain. It doesn't have to be a full meal, but that will prevent those dips of energy, those 11 o'clocks and 4 o'clock dips where you can't really focus. The oxygen part comes from moving our body. The oxygen part comes from literally expanding. Sleep is what lets our brain reprocess. Sleep is what lets our brain do what it needs to do. And if we don't get the sleep that we need, here are some of the impacts that you see on this slide. The second one now is the mental energy. How do we start to gain that ability to focus when we have so many distractions going on right now? And that is the key word. If the key word for physical energy was glucose and oxygen, the key word for mental energy is focus. And so let's talk about how do we regain or sharpen our focus. We're going to talk about 2 things. One is called the power hour, and then we're also going to talk about the ability to say no. Generally, try to divide your work into 45-minute chunks. If you can, try to plan meetings for 45 minutes. That gives you 15 minutes on the back end to make your notes, take a bio break, that kind of thing. And then finally, I want to talk about what we call the power hour. Power hour says this: before you wrap up your day, on your computer, your laptop, your device, whatever it is, list 3 things, and it's just 3, it can't be 5 or 10, 3 things that are important, not necessarily urgent, important, that you get done the next day. You come in the next day, whatever coming in looks like right now, and you look at those, and before you check your email, before you do anything else, you work on those 3 things. The ability to say no. I'm not saying say no all the time. However, what I am saying is it's okay to push back. Now what we're going to talk about is that emotional energy, that ability to understand what you're feeling, as well as being able to understand how to manage it, which can be quite difficult. We're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about emotional energy and the happiness formula. What you see right here is what I think is the easiest way to explain someone's emotion. Because the adjectives that we use, oh, Anna's stressed, Anna's frustrated, Anna's passionate, Anna's relaxed, those actually can cause confusion and can cause what we call a trigger. A trigger is that amygdala hijack. Anna's stressed, oh my gosh, what's the matter? What do I do? Right? Well, her stress looks different than my stress. What I want to talk about now is something called the happiness formula. We need to transform that. We need to be less about set a goal, work hard, achieve the goal, be happy. The 4th pillar is that piece that we call spiritual energy. Again, spiritual energy is nothing to do with religion. What spiritual energy is really about is your values. Now, people get a little confused with the word value. A value is not an ethic, it's not a moral, it's not right, it's not wrong. And a value is just, what do I value? Organizations have values. We know what our values are. And we, as individuals, also have values. We may not articulate them the way that we do in organizations, do not put them out there, And I actually recommend that you do that because values give us a sense of purpose. Our values drive us. They are inherent motivators. And so if I am in alignment with my values, if I know what my values are and I check in on them on a regular basis, I actually then get more energy.